Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Many people wonder how Steve and I can be such great friends when we disagree on 80% of most issues. And let me clarify that. We don't differ on the end goal of helping the needy and protecting our citizens and caring for our elders. We don't disagree on where we want to end up. Most times we disagree on how to get there. But we know that we want the same thing. Even when it comes to the congressional baseball game, we want the same thing. We want to win. Fortunately, we win and they don't. But the other thing is our faith unites us. Our faith allows us to put purpose first. We put purpose over politics. We put purpose over profits. Because at the end of the day, we know that we're here on earth to fulfill a purpose and make this world a better place, make this country a more perfect union. We also agree that we were all created in the likeness of God. No matter what country, no matter what state, no matter what city, no matter what zip code, no matter what block. We were all made in the likeness of God. And the last thing that I know that we agree on is what the Lord requires of us. And that is to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. But our path has crossed many times. Starting back in the state legislature, Steve was still a very conservative legislator. And I, at the time, was chairman of the Legislative Black Caucus when Katrina and Rita hit. And it was in those times of need and struggle, where our people were the most vulnerable that they've ever been, that we forged a connection. And the connection was based around the song, really. Lord, don't move my mountain, but give me the ability to climb. Lord, don't move my stumbling blocks, but lead me all around. And when you think of that song, we're asking for God to give us the ability to fix what needs to be fixed. And here in Congress, we should sing that song every day. And speaking of days, I'll just go back to that day of the shooting, when Democrats heard the news, and we were just doing our daily baseball practice. I had my 3-year-old son, little Cedric, there with me, and we got the news. They called us into the dugout. They said, hey, there was a shooting at the Congressional Republican baseball practice, and we don't know any details yet, but we do know people were injured. So we came together, and then over the phone and others, we got the news that Steve was one of the people that was hit. So our coach, Mike Dahl, called in all of our Democratic baseball team. And the first thing we did was we got on our knees and we prayed. We prayed for safety. We prayed for health. We prayed for divine intervention, and we prayed for a miracle. And it wasn't about politics. It was the reminder of how fragile life is. Whether it's at the hands of a gunman or famine, life is precious. And then I started to think, as I think back about Steve's story, of the Good Samaritan, and how the Lord not only works in mysterious ways, but will send various kinds of people to be that Good Samaritan. So in Steve's case, it was David Bailey, young African-American male, and Crystal Griner, a gay African-American female. But I'm sure at that time, none of that mattered. What mattered was protecting lives. And so as much as Steve and I ever can be together and share a podium without joking, I wanted to be serious at this prayer breakfast because that is a reminder of the mercy and the strength of our God, but more importantly, the faith that we have to have and the courage that we have to march on. And I'll tell you, when I got to the hospital, and I think I was the first member of Congress at the hospital, and the only thing I could think of, crazy enough, was not Steve. I was thinking about his wife, Jennifer, and his kids, Madison and Harrison. How do you tell them what happened? They're in New Orleans, getting ready to come up for a baseball game to watch their dad lose to me. But how do you tell them something that bad happened? And as we gathered in the hospital to continue to pray and work out Jennifer and the kids getting here, the one thing that I knew about Steve was his faith in God, his love for his family, and that it would take a lot more than one bullet to keep him from his family and to make him question his faith. So with that, let me bring up my dear friend, a so-so baseball player, but a great man of faith and a great leader for our Republican Congress and the majority whip of the United States Congress, Congressman Steve Scalise.